I'm Paul Wang, and I'd like to welcome you all to this Summit on Global Wellbeing. And today, our main focus is to remember at dinner and also look forward to future research on global well-being. And we have a very distinguished panel today. I'm very pleased that Robert Evans was able to be with us today because he was one of the original members working with At Dinner to develop the very influential and impactful satisfaction with life scale. You know, personally, I always remember At Dinner as a visionary researcher. Way back in 2001, when I attended the first Global Wellbeing Summit at the Gallup Center in Washington, I have several good talks with At Dinner. At that time, he was the only psychologist keenly interested in cross-cultural research, as well as in contextual factors such as suffering. And he was very proud about his son's research in this area. I say that his research is very important because it doesn't matter what kind of well-being you study, you just cannot get away with At Dinner's two-factor theory of subjective well-being. Now, the fact that all kinds of well-being are correlated with subjective well-being, it doesn't mean that they do not have their own unique characteristics. The other area I want to mention is that although people link hedonic well-being with subjective well-being, all three kinds of happiness are all related to subjective well-being. Okay? And as At Dinner mentioned, there are cultural and environmental differences and contextual differences. Each culture may arbitrate which kind of happiness is most popular. For example, in Asia, in China, in old China at least, the people are more value the mature kind of happiness, which I will explain further. Also, in terms of suffering, count-based mature happiness is also most relevant and important. I just completed a paper on existential suffering and palliative care. For palliative care patients, the best we can achieve is kind of mature happiness, even though they don't feel excited about things. Now, here is an example about why it's called mature happiness. This is a dialectical model, okay? You can see that it's not just a cognitive and affective models, factors in subjective well-being. Here, all four dimensions of human being or person who are involved: the social culture, the psychological, the physical, and then up there is spiritual. Furthermore, in time of suffering or difficult situations, you need moral courage, you need a sense of meaning and purpose, and you need practical wisdom to get through. Now, these three kind of virtues are involved to help us to navigate between yin and yang. Now, yin and yang, or negative or positive, are not two poles of the same dimension, but rather two independent dimensions, where in the two-dimensional space, these three elements will decide which spot within the two-dimensional space is most suitable for a particular situation. Does it serve the purpose? Is it the right thing to do? Is it the right thing to do? Similarly, your wisdom and purpose and courage also navigate a dynamic balance between self and other dimension. So that's why mature happiness is the sweet spot, which balance, give up and balance, the optimal balance in any situation. Here is another example about balance. According to existential parapsychology, we need to navigate a dynamic balance between positive and negative conditions. One way to describe that situation, according to Nietzsche, the happiness and unhappiness, good and evil, they're all twins. They grew up together. It's just we tend to ignore the dark side and favor the bright side. Mature happiness involving a balance between yin and yang. So these are some ideas that involve in mature happiness, which is just beginning to attract some attention. And now I open this to the panel for them to express, to share with us their insight and research. Thank you very much.